everyone, welcome back to my channel. So for this video, I'm going to be running through a makeup tutorial on this look that you see right here. I was working with purples and blues on the eyes, and then I paired it with this really vibrant kind of coral hot pink lip. I don't know where I was going with that word, but yes. So I hope that you guys enjoy this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Bye. All right, y'all, so for today, we are starting off with our eyes. I decided to use my Colourpop Super Shock eyeshadows because I haven't dug into them in a long time. So first off, I'm using the shade Cornelius, which is this really beautiful, warm, kind of like peachy brown shade. And I'm just dusting that into my crease and a little bit above my crease as my transition shade. We are doing a halo look today, but of course I want to make sure that all of the shadows are blended out very nicely. Next up, we have the shade Bravery, which is this beautiful dark chocolate brown, and I'm taking that on my Sigma, I believe E35 brush, and I am applying that to the outer corner, up in the crease area, and then all the way to that inner corner as well, leaving the ball center of my eye blank. I don't want to put any shadow there, and my dogs are moving my camera stand, so I apologize for looking shaky like that. But this eyeshadow blends so beautifully. I love it a lot. And then after I put that down, I just went back in with Cornelius and buffed out any harsh lines that were going on. I love to do this step whenever I'm working with any sort of smoky eye or halo eye because it makes everything look a lot more put together. Next up, I'm using the shade Kaepop Beverly, and I am putting this in my outer crease with a much more tapered Sigma brush. I forgot like exactly the number of this one, but it comes to a point. So I dab it onto that outer corner first, and then I slowly start working it into that crease area. This is the part where it takes a lot of patience, and just take your time, make the slow movements, try not to be a little too jagged with it like I tend to do sometimes. But after I get kind of that halo look that I'm going for, I will start working towards the center of the eye and just kind of stamp in that area as well. Then I'm going back in with the shade Beverly just to buff into my crease because I wanted all the colors to kind of go together instead of it just being like one shade, another shade. I just wanted it all to look blown out and very seamless in that halo. And that's how you get a really nice halo eye. It's just blending all of the shades together. Next up, we are going in with the star of the show, which is the shade Kindness. It is this beautiful, like shimmery kind of mermaid color. It's got blues, greens, silvers. I first went in with a brush and then just realized, what am I doing? I need to be using my fingers. So that's exactly what I did. I literally just placed this color on the ball of my eye, not bringing it up into the crease, just placing it exactly where I left like my eye blank. And then after that, I'm going to go in with the brush just to apply closer to the lash line, but the fingers worked just fine. So if you don't have any sort of shader brush, you can definitely just use your fingers. Now I'm taking a little bit more of Kaepop Beverly on a pencil brush. I am just lightly carving out my crease, making sure that the crease is more defined and that any of that like shimmer shade Kindness didn't get up into the crease area. This is really what is going to make the halo effect look even more profound. And then after this, I am going back in with the shade Cornelius and just lightly dusting that into my crease area so that it looks like it kind of blends up towards the brow. So this is going to be the completed halo look. And then to just basically finish it off, I'm going in with my IT Cosmetics Confidence in Your Glow palette, and I'm using that highlight shade to dust underneath my brow bone. Again, just to clean up any shadow that got closer to the brow, and then also to create kind of more of a space between the eyeshadow and the brow. And then after I do that, I'm just going to pop on some mascara. I'm using the Lights Camera Lashes mascara by Tarte. It is hands down my favorite formula of all time. It doesn't flake off on me. The formula is like in between a wet and a dry, so honestly, it's my favorite. Like, it adds so much volume, separation, it doesn't come out clumpy. But with this look, I felt like we needed to pull out the lashes, so I decided to use House of Lashes in the style Featherette, which are the most comfortable lashes I personally have ever worn, and I am not a lash kind of gal. So now we're moving on to our face using the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water. Oh my gosh, you guys. I spent the day at the beach, so I needed so much hydration. I'm not even kidding you. So I also decided to use one of my most hydrating foundations, which is the Josie Maran Vibrancy Foundation Fluid. I am in the shade Awakened, which actually at this point is a little too light for me because I do have so much red undertone in my skin whenever I am tan. But I'm just taking my IT Cosmetics foundation brush and applying that all over my face, which I really realized that foundation brushes for me do not work well whenever I have a very fluid or dewy foundation. So anytime I apply with a brush, I always go back over it with a damp beauty sponge, which you see me doing here after I applied my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. I just put that underneath my eyes to conceal, and then I'm taking that damp beauty sponge all over the rest of my foundation as well, just to pick up any excess and then also to get rid of those brush strokes. I don't know what it is about like super dewy foundations, but I always get brush strokes whenever I use a brush. And then yes, I am pulling out the Kat Von D Translucent Locket Powder. I have talked so much about this in my project pan. It just was not working for me for the longest time. So I felt like maybe I needed to pair it with a much more dewy and moisturizing foundation, which I did. And actually it worked out just fine. So maybe that's what I need to start doing, is using it with more moisturizing products, because I do have drier skin underneath my eyes. And then I just filled in my brows with the Anastasia Brow Wiz. And then to complete the under eyes, I'm using my Sex Kitten eyeliner by Tarte, which is the blackest, like most inkiest eyeliner I've ever used in my life. And then I'm taking a little bit of that Kaepop Beverly and putting that underneath my lash line, kind of dragging it out pretty far as well, almost to where my bottom lashes hit, but not quite that far. So I'm just kind of bringing this around, and I also put it towards my outer corner as well, just to make sure that we had that rim look and it wasn't a separation from the upper and lower lashes. And then I'm pulling out bronzer I haven't used in a long time. This is the Wet n Wild Color Icon Bronzer in the shade Ticket to Brazil, which after I realized how dark I actually was, this bronzer didn't quite do me justice for bronzing. It was probably a shade too light, but that's okay. We just ran with it. I probably should have used my Anastasia bronzer in the shade Amber or something like that, but it's okay. So now I'm using that same IT Cosmetics palette, and I am putting on the blush, which I love. Honestly, you guys, this palette is so amazing. All of the shades in here are super pigmented and they blend like a dream. And this highlighter I die for. It just gives such a beautiful, vibrant look, but it's not too striking or shimmery. It just literally makes you look like you're beaming from within. I love it so much. So I just apply that to the high points of my cheeks. And I also touched a little bit on my nose and my Cupid's bow. Then for the lips, I'm pulling out a very, very vibrant lip. So this is the Gerard Cosmetics Bullet Lipstick in the shade Passion Play, which is such a fun pop of color. I figured, you know what, it's summertime, why not play around with some makeup? So I did, and I felt like the poppy shade really worked well with those purples and blues, which is exactly what I was going for. So that is going to complete this look. I hope you guys had fun hanging out with me, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!